7. Joined tonight by the Motor City Mashers, Dan and Mike from the Mashers. Thanks for joining us, guys, hanging out. It's been a while since we've done a homebrew show, so kind of excited to just talk with homebrewers and chill out and drink some beer. So,
what was our last one?
Jesus Christ, I don't remember.
Was it KGB?
Yeah. It might have been KGB, and I think it was quite a while ago. We did a few with like the Homebrew Fest, and I think we did some homebrew competition ones, but we haven't had a club on. So, yeah, you guys are out of Taylor, right? Taylor, Michigan, or the club is officially.
Well, we started there, that's for sure.
Started there. Right.
We're based out of Adventures in Homebrewing in Taylor, and so as they've evolved and the pandemic and such has hit, we've kind of transitioned to somewhere between Dearborn and Detroit, I guess I'd say.
Right on. Well, before we dive into that, the first thing, the more important question is, what are you drinking? What's in the glass, Dan?
I got a little fest beer.
Is it your fest beer or
it is? It is indeed. Yeah.
So it's a very. I haven't brewed one yet. I'm really like into that style right now, and been hunting them down. So I need to get one going. If you got a good recipe.
I don't know if
if it was published or anything.
No, not that one.
Not that one.
But yeah, it's great. I like it. You can get so much Oktoberfest, right? I feel like it's so widely available, but it's hard to find fest beer. And I think it's preferable to drink a lot of times, at least for me. So I can see why the Germans made the switch.
Totally agree. Mike, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a dark mild. This is a recipe that I've made back, I don't know, since like 2016 or so. It's kind of been good luck in winning awards and competitions and stuff. So I try to keep it on hand, something low ABV, not crazy hoppy, but it's definitely not dark to where it's, filling or anything. So yeah, I think to keep it on tap.
Right on. How about you, Brian?
I am drinking an Oktoberfest or a Märzen, or whatever. I tend to switch back and forth year to year. Last year, I think I did like 2 or 3 fest beers just because I was feeling it so much. And this year, I'm feeling Oktoberfest much more. So I've been switching back and forth. But I did before the show started, I killed a Sam Adams fest beer. It was pretty good. I haven't been able to find them in like normal 6-packs, but I bought a mix pack or whatever. I had it in there. Yeah, it's good.
That's I am not at all drinking homebrew. I don't have any goddamn homebrew.
You got some sour, right?
Well, no, what I've got in the keezer, it's either from competitions that I don't want to dip into, or I got blown out after Homebrew Fest, and I really haven't had a chance to brew. So starting off with the hams.
It's like the typical show opener,
right? It's hams. It's what's in the freezer or the cooler. I mean,
yeah, you guys definitely didn't bring enough beer to Homebrew Fest. You guys, I think each one of you did like 10 kegs each or something.
I mean,
yeah, I think we brought like 400 out.
Yeah,
around there. In years past, it's been tough to rotate through and make sure everybody's beer got on tap. And this year we were lucky enough to be able to use all of Livingston's taps and just put it all out. I mean, I only think we have 5 or 6 kegs that we're holding back, and then I don't think we ever tapped beer at your guys' bar though.
No, we had enough of our own, but I know you asked a couple times.
We were on tap, I think, at 5 different clubs.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, Homebrew Fest is one of those, like, you come up to us, hey, can I put a beer on tap? Yeah, sure. And then, like, I don't see you for like 6 hours. So, it's one of those. You forget 10 seconds later,
Geographically, you guys are like the farthest away from us, I think. So
yeah,
there a lot of shit can happen between our clubs. I mean,
it's easy to get. Very easy.
Right on. So tell us about Masters. You said you're out of AIHs. Were you not actually tied to brewery then? Just the store?
Yeah, traditionally that we Jason, who's the founder of AIH, was one of the owner, I guess, is the co-founder of the Mashers back in the day. So yeah, we've always kind of been tied to them, and they had a great space for us to meet and coordinate meetings and buy homebrewing materials and everything. But
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. They expanded and moved around a little bit, and then COVID hit and they shut down. So we kind of had to adjust a little bit.
Right on. How did you guys do through COVID? Did you just go virtual or wind up canceling meetings or?
It was tough. I was president when it first started, and I think we had planned on meeting at Eastern Market Brewing Company because one of our members was the head brewer there, and he had, I think, Dan, you brewed with him, right? It was like a collab
Yep.
for one of our masher competitions, so that we could brew it on a commercial system and serve it commercially. But yeah, I remember that first meeting. It was the beginning of March, so like COVID was here, kind of, but everything didn't officially take place till like the second week in March. And I just remember telling people, like, don't touch anybody or don't share glasses, and like I didn't know what the fuck was going on, So, but yeah, after it shut down, mid-March, we met virtually for
over a year.
Oh yeah, pretty much over a year. There was that lull at the end of 2020 when it seemed like things were getting better, and we did meet at another member's VFW hall for maybe 2 or 3 meetings. But after, like, I believe maybe in December, so things got worse, and we went back to virtual. So since then, we started meeting. When was our first meeting? In May or June?
April or May, yeah.
Or May, yeah.
We've been at Brew Detroit this year, which has been really nice.
So our online presence, it was good, and then it takes its lulls, in those waning months. But I think overall our core group of members, kind of stuck out, on that online presence. So yeah, it was good. I mean, it sucked. It was good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What types of things are you guys doing virtual? Like we started this show during COVID as a way to kind of regroup and connect with the community and kind of stay involved with homebrewers and breweries and shit. And we asked a lot of clubs, like what kind of things you were talking about. Were you still trying to do presentations? Were you still trying to do competitions or club things? So how did you guys get through it? Was there anything that stood out that you did?
It was. Well, go ahead.
We tried to keep as much of the stuff I think that we normally do as possible. We did, we do like a quarterly competition, a specific style that we kept up through the pandemic. So we kind of, we would drop beers off at someone's house or something like that. And they, we've got a number of judges on our, club that are willing to do that. So they did like virtual judging sessions. And then we would also do like, we would pick a style, and, go buy Bell's Oberon for American wheat or something like this. We'd all try to taste that commercial example and talk about it online. Certainly wasn't the best, but we made it through, I guess, as best we could.
Yeah, Brian, you did some of that beer ferrying and shit.
I mean, you mostly you, yeah. Being the competition coordinator, you're doing most of the driving everywhere.
Yeah, we actually I see Gail in the comments talking about filling the winning competitions. So I talked to Gail. Gail's gonna we do a big. I try to do 3 comps a year. You guys do quarterly. That's admirable. I'm struggling to get 3. I think last year I only got 2, but we do try to do like one big official BJCP format club comp, and I think Gail's going to hopefully help me judge that this year.
Pressure's on now. Yeah.
I mentioned it to her. She said she might. I've got to talk to you, Gail, if you're still watching. We'll chat. I'll use that segue. Gail's going to be back with us actually on the air on the 25th. We're going to be talking about the Michigan Mead Cup and mead in general. So another master, Gail Milburn. We'll see her on the 25th. And hopefully by then I'll have connected with her on this judging shit.
Yeah, you asked her to. Yeah, you couldn't ask for anybody better to help out, right?
No, I know. I actually am really impressed with. She judged my beer cup beer, and I got great feedback.
That's cool. That's
One
awesome.
of the best judge feedback sheets. So it's awesome. So absolutely. Yeah. Either you guys judges officially? Really?
Yeah, I'm certified.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of it was due to Gail and to another one of our members who's a judge, and just preaching how important it is. I mean, I think if you want to get into the history of our club, it was a lot with competitions. So like a lot of us guys were interested in submitting to comps, and I think a part of doing your duty to competitions almost is to judge comps also. I mean, there's a lot of shitty feedback out there, and the more experience you get, if you can get through the BJCP, exams and stuff, I just think you're better off, as a judge, as a brewer, as a entrant, so.
It's I tell people regularly in the club, and I've been preaching for years, it's the only way to get really good, unbiased, non-partial feedback. It's hard to tell your friend that their beer sucks or it's got flaws, especially to their face.
It's really easy to tell a friend that. It's a little bit harder to tell somebody you only kind of know that, in my opinion. Yeah. I tell Jason his beer sucks all the time.
I tell Mike his beer sucks all the time.
Yeah.
My mild.
Right.
So speaking of that mild, hold on.
Yeah,
Tim asked in chat if that was the dark mild that was at the Masher tent.
Yeah, that would be the same one. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I think different batch, but yes, same recipe and all that. So, yep.
So with 4 comps a year, I know you mentioned style. Is everyone style? Do you do anything weird or off the wall or any kind of crazy shit?
No, we have a kind of strange setup with how I should just let Mike talk about it since he helped set it up. But we have a weird kind of month-to-month beer BJCP style that we have, and so we have our club members brew that style for the month, and then quarterly, whatever the one style is submitted to a competition, and that competition is actually official BJCP recognized competition. Like we pay the $25 to get it, official, so that like our judges and our stewards and everything get points and, whatnot. So, yeah.
I will have to look into doing that for the Keeper's Cup. That's
a great idea.
It is one, we only do like the single category, right? We're only submitting specific.
Yeah, we've talked. When I was going to do the 3, we were going to do one style comp a year, one screwball comp a year, which is we've done cookies, we've done cereal. We tried doing an iron brew where we randomly selected ingredients. I'll never do that again. That was
we did that too. It was pretty crazy. Yeah, the iron brew. Yeah, fantasy football draft.
Yep, we did a football draft. David Jones put that on. I missed that one.
That was really fun.
Was it? Yeah. I think I was traveling a lot during that time. I couldn't do it. So yeah, we're that's cool that you guys do that. So I mean, you have tell us about this. Gail says you have a very strict protocol for entrance. No,
I'm not sure exactly what Gail's referring to.
We'll ask her next time.
To be a member of our club, we have to have made the beer that is the style for that month. So Oh, well, the last one we had judged was what was it? I don't even remember.
Hellas? No.
Yeah. Yeah, you beat me.
And
So,
for those competitions, is it, first, second, third? Is it highest score, like overall? How do you?
yeah, so the judging itself is very much like like any other competition where you can score, say, a 42, right? But the best of show beer, or the BOS for the mini BOS, it would be, because it's a single subcategory. Could score a 37. So it's just kind of is this a great beer? Yes, it is, but this one's more representative of the style. So judges take that into consideration. So it's not just, 42, 37, 30, 2, it's 1, 2, 3. It's, and we started that as a way to keep members brewing. We've been doing this since 2017, where we assign a category per month. And then, so in addition to the education portion of it, it's the competition portion of it. We assign points, based on whether you get first, second, or third in the competition. You get points for submitting. So that kind of encourages you to submit. My idea behind encouragement of submission is like, try to get people ready to submit in not a real comp, but just like any other comp, sure. 2 bottles, crown cap, no marks, no markings on the bottles, no glue, no tape, strap it with a rubber band, just to get people prepared for that style of competition. Cause that's what you need to do in a real comp.
Yeah. And Gail mentions here, right? She says that, we're blind. The judges are all blind. They have no idea who's who. So it is. Yes. To be a masher, you have to be breathing. You have to have made the style. And the judges are not aware of who's brewing what.
It's cool to explore those different styles and kind of broaden that experience for the members. I think that's what we've talked about trying to do. On the keeper side, just to get. I remember when we first started the club, we had a lot of members that had never brewed a stout, or I think right now, I've never brewed a real traditional lager. So I think it'd be cool to kind of get into something like that with a Hellas and just to broaden horizons and explore new shit. That's neat that you guys do that.
Yeah, and that's how we assign our categories too. Is the 4 quarterly comps are things that are maybe easier or more approachable for anyone in the club. We might throw a lager in one of the quarters out of the year. Maybe we skip lagers altogether, but it's never like sour beers or super crazy stuff. It's easier things to brew from a temperature, ingredients, style, stuff like that. Then we save all our weird stuff for those in between months where if you want to get weird, you can. So yeah.
The cookie one was cool. The cereal beer was the best one for me. So if you guys ever decide to do a cereal beer comp, my cereal beer has actually won multiple gold medals and ribbons and all kinds of shit.
Cereal as in breakfast cereal, right? Not like yeah.
So here's the joke.
Can you give us the base cereal? What's the?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's the joke. Since Gail's watching and she judged it. I won a gold this year again. I think it's its 7th or 8th medal. I brewed a Berliner Weiss with a box of Fruit Loops.
Oh,
okay. A whole family-sized box of Fruit Loops right in the mash. Shit comes out ectoplasm green, and when it goes into
that was gray.
Gray out of the mash tun. When it goes in the fermenter, it's green. It all crashes out, turns into a beautiful straw color. Almost every judge that judges it says it's like a classic example of style. So I'm really confused at how the Germans brewed Berliner Weiss without Fruit Loops.
So
have you ever tried to brew it without the Fruit Loops and
Yeah.
determine whether it's not the same?
Those are shit beer.
Okay. All right.
Wait. So you submit it, or you enter it as the normal BJCP Berliner Weiss. It's not a specialty beer or anything.
No,
Wow,
you can't
that's
tell
crazy.
there's Fruit Loops in it.
That's
It's just
crazy.
a grain.
Yeah,
There's no real flavor from it. It's just
the sugar
it's
and
just
shit.
sugar, yeah, and shit. I've never mentioned it.
Some minerals.
It's done very well in the past in nationals, and my dream was always that it wins a medal. Like Dan with your gold, which we'll get into in a minute, and to have to publish my recipe in Zimmergy
With a box of Fruit
Loops.
Awesome. Awesome.
I saw a recipe in Zimmergy of somebody, and I don't know what it was, but it was like he added like a little vial of holy water, and it was like, no, seriously, I put this in there. You got to do it. That'd be crazy.
So we're talking about that. So Dan, you just took a gold in nationals this year over COVID, right? For what one?
It was a Belgian dark strong.
Belgian dark strong.
Nice. That was actually my cereal beer that did not do so well. I made it with Raisin Bran.
I did not put any cereal in my gold medal winning beer. Yeah.
So you can actually
something to note. That category was the highest entered category at nationals. So
Wow.
it makes it that much more prestigious.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. That's crazy. You would think it'd be like IPA or something. Like sometimes like.
I really feel like a lot of people are brewing or getting off the IPA category in comps just because of that. For years there it was flooded. It's why I don't.
Yeah, I think they split it up into like so many things now, right? There was like specialty, but they also had New England, and they had double, and they had regular, and there's pale ale or something. I don't remember all of them, but there's quite a few.
You know what I think happened though too is like there was like at least a stretch of 3 or 4 years was I was chasing the least entered categories at nationals, right? Because they publish all the info after, and then the next year that comes up, right, that you enter them, it's like a couple of the highest, right? So like everyone's doing the exact same thing I was doing. It was like, works.
No, I mean, absolutely doing the same thing. I got into fucking ordinary bitters, the most boring ass goddamn beer I've ever brewed, but nobody was entering that category.
Nice beer.
It's a good beer.
No, it was.
Nice beer.
I called it boring ass bitter because it's just you drink it and you're like, wow, this is so average. But I drank the shit out of it. But chasing that.
Michigan Beer Cup this year, there was no Scotch ales anywhere, not a single entrant.
No Scotch ales.
Yeah.
What surprised me more was there was no medals awarded for fruit beer. Right?
Really?
So,
wow.
What happened?
No medals awarded for fruit beer.
Oh.
Well, you could only get one,
Right. But back to this, let's see. So you're published in the September issue of Zimmergy, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So you get out there. You can see a picture of Dan and his kid. That's adorable, by the way.
Yeah. I said there's a really good. There's the best looking masher on the sign. You'll also find a picture of me.
So, any tips on that? So you brewed a Belgian, strong Belgian ale. What's your secret? What are you going to give us? Since we're competitors most of the year.
I don't want you to beat me. No, I mean, I generally, I'll look, when I'm starting a style, I'll look to the past couple years in Zymurgy. It'll give you all the recipes, kind of take that as a base. And the styles and the tastes of the judges tend to kind of move and evolve a little bit, it seems like. So kind of take that and come up with something that makes sense, submit it a couple times, get some feedback. And I mean, I feel like it's mostly luck. I don't know. I got luck.
I mean,
I mean, it ages out really well. For I would say, for a dark Belgian, you want to use the candy syrup. I feel like they're like super important, the dark candy syrups. So, I think they take a 180, couple packs. I made a 10-gallon or 8-gallon batch. So.
Right on.
I mean, I'd say you're pretty traditional in your ingredients too. You don't get like crazy with it too, right? I mean, you look, what's the style?
Yeah.
I mean, freshest yeast. I mean, Dan's a liquid guy for sure. So
Mike is not always.
I mean, I go both ways. So
yeah, well, you're big league brewlosifer over there now. So who knows?
We got to talk about that too.
We'll get to that in a minute. Yeah.
Do you do anything to your beard they say do something just a little different to make it stand out, like maybe a little bit of a different hop, like you dry hopping your Belgians with like Galaxy or something like that, to make it stand out.
I didn't with that beer, but I'll say this, like I did pretty well with this Australian sparkling this year too. I won a bunch of gold medals with that.
What is that style?
Yeah, exactly. Nobody knows, right? But so it was one of our like monthly comps, and it was like, well, like there's this old school way of making it, and then there's this new school way of making it, and I'm like, well, screw it. I'm throwing Galaxy and like Enigma hops in there because that's what I want to drink. And I don't think anybody who was maybe judging it was super familiar, so pretty good. So
what's it supposed to taste like? I'm not familiar with it.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
I use like an English yeast. It's a very light colored ale with the English yeast, and I did a really light dry hopping with those, which most people wouldn't do. But
is it like highly carbonated then, like the sparkling thing? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. What's the ABV on something like that?
Pretty low, like 4.5 or something like that, probably. Okay. I mean, I will say, like generally for comps, I'm pushing the boundaries, if not going over them a little bit with most of the styles that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
When we went over that style, Dan, wasn't Pride of Ringwood like the so that, like also who knows what that tastes like? So
well, like
just throw Galaxy in it and you'll be fine.
Luke from KGB makes it, and like he uses the traditional Pride of Ringwood. So like we were comparing them, and he's like, "This isn't right," and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I didn't like Pride of Ringwood, so I wanted to use this." Anyway,
it's gonna turn into like a it's going to be traditional Australian sparkling and modern Australian sparkling. It's going to be A and sparkling B. Yeah.
I'll take Galaxy and Enigma all day, so that's my preference. I just made what I wanted to drink there. I had no idea what I was doing. So.
Sure.
Yeah. With the Belgian, I mean, I let it age for a year and a half or a year before I submitted it. So like, I guess that probably helped too a little bit. It was over a year old.
For the cookie beer competition we did this year, I used like an entire package of those like lemon wafer cookies that have like the lemony frosting in the middle, and I zested like 5 lemons into it too, and just made like a kettle sour, and I threw that into a competition as a what's that style, like a Catalina sour, right?
Oh yeah, Catalina sour, yeah.
Catalina sour is it? And
Catalina, I think is what.
Okay.
Catalina. Yeah, there's an R in it. Yeah.
I got like a 41, but they couldn't pick out the lemon. They had no idea what the fruit was because they didn't ask for me to declare it. So it was, I don't know, it's one of those weird things.
But it still scored pretty well.
Was that the one? Was that the one that was at Homebrew Fest? Was that your like gang beer?
So the recipe was based off of that beer. Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah. Turned out really good.
I think the gang beer did well. It was based on his. We brewed a 10-gallon batch using his recipe, and then we split it and we put cherries in the other and 5 and kept. And we had both on tap. But the lemon was definitely good. But then Michigan Mead Coalition showed up with the fucking amazing gang mead. And
Unreal.
There was there's no competition there.
I think they turned that around in like 6 weeks too, or something. Like,
That was really good.
So
maybe less. I don't know.
So it's just another award that we're chasing. Keepers. We were fortunate enough to get Homebrew Club of the Year this year. Been chasing that one a while. We're chasing the gang beer, and we're chasing the goddamn Dead Grass Award, but we can't seem to get over you guys. Like, holy shit! The last 2 years at Michigan Homebrew Fest, I think you guys have brought it more than anybody.
Well, Justin, do you want to stand out there in a suit, all next year?
No, what was that guy's name? Your Alex Trebek?
Kevin O'Brien.
Kevin O'Brien.
He's the man.
What a fucking champ.
He's got red hair. He dyed his mustache in his hair every day. Like, even, whatever that spray is. He sprayed that shit in his hair and his mustache every day. Dude is amazing.
And just walking around Homebrew Fest when it was like 98 goddamn degrees in the middle of August, wearing a suit the entire time. I only think I saw him without the jacket on once or twice. So let's back up. Let's get into this. So at Homebrew Fest, the clubs come. They can. There's no rule or requirement, but the clubs can choose to do a theme. Or make their site interesting. This year, you guys did Jeopardy, right? And so tell us about how that came to be, because you guys started like the week before Homebrew Fest with this amazing fucking video, which I feel like I should play it, but I don't. It would take me a minute to figure it out. But anyway,
I'll find it.
Yeah. How do you guys come up with this shit? How do you guys get people to do this shit? So.
We, I don't know. I think we came to it like we were just spitballing ideas. I think we've got like a bank of ideas that maybe we want to do. And I think with Alex Trebek passing away and Sean Connery passing away in the last, few years, and we just thought it was kind of a cool idea and like a quasi tribute to them. But then it was like, well, we'll do the beer themed one, and then just kind of getting ideas about Celebrity Jeopardy and celebrity questions. So we just were like, okay, well, we should get a bunch of beer celebrities to read the questions, so we, I don't know, we sent a bunch of emails out, and, we've got some people kind of connected in our club, Gail and Sandy. So they helped us out quite a bit. And took a while, but we got them all in, and it came together, I guess.
The other thing too is like we have a diverse, just like any other homebrew club, we have a diverse group of people who knows how to do certain things, right? So if you came to the club, if you came to our booth, we had buzzers there, right, that you could buzz in, and like it would lock out the other buzzers. And like one of our guys, our vice president, is like, I don't really know what he does technically, but it's like electrician based maybe. So, he knows how to put that shit together. We got, computer guys that were able to, I think when we were first spitballing it, the original vision was, okay, we're going to like put all these questions in a Excel, like
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint that you could just project up, right? We got a computer guys like, fuck that shit. I'm going to make this thing. All you have to do is like put in your question, and it's going to randomize games every time. And like, it was just, it's just the power of the people in your group, it's Kevin O'Brien dressed, volunteering. No one asked him to do that. He shaved his beard to a mustache and dyed his hair every day and wore a suit and jacket, like it's just, it just comes together. I don't know. You just have to have a lot of good. Actually, you don't have to have a lot. You just have to have, a handful of good people in your group, and it just comes together. So
it was a lot of work. It was a lot.
Dan put in a lot of work with the videos and the reaching out to the, all those celebrities. That was all Dan. And
when do you think you guys started the planning? So you got to come. Bring this in August, third weekend in August. How long did that take you to ramp up?
It had to have been when Trebek died.
Well, we were getting worried about it, I feel like in June, and we said, by like middle of July, we wanted to have all these things out there. And like anything, I feel like it was a last minute scramble. Like most of the emails went out like late July, and we were like getting them in. And like, I was like sending all these emails to Denny Kahn and Drew Beecham, like, get your shit. And, all the different folks who ended up helping us out. And, it was kind of weird, but it was cool,
Do we want to show it? I got it pulled up.
Can you pass it through?
Yeah.
Sure, if you guys don't mind, go for it. It's absolutely one of the coolest things we've seen. No audio.
You're not hearing it?
No.
So, I don't know how to fix that.
Yeah. Then there we go. Anyway, go to Motor City Mashers Facebook page and check it out.
Well, I think it's on the Michigan Homebrew Festival page too, right?
Yeah, we'll throw a link up there. It was like, I think, weren't we driving to Homebrew Fest, Brian? Like, we went early.
Yeah, probably. Still can't hear it?
And no.
Okay. Well, that's too bad.
So I think we're driving to Homebrew Fest and like Brian pulled up on his phone.
Yeah.
And showed
like,
it
what's
to me
this?
as we're driving. He's like, yeah, what's this shit? And we're like, stopped and watched this thing, and I'm like, well, there goes that. Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good and bad because then we really had to bring it afterwards, right? We could have shipped it ahead when we got there.
I was like, I got to post this the day before to kind of, just in case anybody else has Jeopardy.
Yeah, that was the thing too. Like Dan, everyone else in the club didn't know that Dan was doing this video montage deal and then putting it out, and he just puts it out and like, well, shit. Now we don't have to worry about anyone taking the idea. Otherwise, they're gonna look like assholes once we show up. So,
Well, I tell you, so 2 years, the year before, and I don't even know what time that was anymore with COVID, but the 10th annual Michigan Homebrew Fest, Keepers was like, we're going to do beer games. We're going to do like a college theme. We're going to have beer pong. We're going to have, Flippy Cup and beer puppet and all this shit. And we had the games and kind of had plans of trying to get games going and people, hanging out at our tents, and we get there and you guys have all of the games. You got a fucking competition, ladder,
sign up sheets,
and you're all wearing fucking
lederhosen.
Thank you, lederhosen.
That was a different year, but yeah, go ahead.
Was it?
I thought it was the same year.
One? Yeah. Oh yeah, because it was Beer Fest.
Beer Fest.
Beer Fest.
Yeah.
They all mesh together.
So I literally I packed most of that shit up and just put it away. I'm like, I'm not even putting out games and this shit, like, because Mashers have totally owned that shit. So
well, that wasn't even the one. I mean, we not to toot our own horn, but what was the year we won the first time? It wasn't the beer games, Dan. It was something else before, wasn't it?
We went on Lebowski.
Oh yeah, the Big Lebowski. Duh. I mean that one.
Yeah. See, back when you guys were doing Big Lebowski, we were tiny. We didn't even. I was just trying to get 5 people to come with me.
Yeah, I don't think I was there that year. Yeah.
Yeah. But the Big Lebowski one was fun. It was great. You guys had the carpet, right? And you were just playing it and
yeah, that carpet came from my garage that I brewed on. I just brew on that carpet.
Really brought the thing together.
Yeah, really tied the room together.
Yeah.
I mean, the nice thing too was like we've been using that as like a jumping off point for NHC. So we went to NHC the following year after Lebowski with that theme. So
nice.
I think it was that same year, wasn't it?
Whatever year it was, but I think we may be doing. I don't know. Can we say that? I don't know.
Oh. Yes.
It's my bowling team.
So, yeah, we had like custom shirts and everything made that year too.
Yeah. So this is and I think Dan, you and I remember talking to you about. I don't know if it was at State Fair or not, but it's like, what are you guys doing to get this participation? Do you have a lot of people in the club that are into brainstorming this, or do you think it's just kind of a couple people kind of drive it?
we got some new officers, that have, come in the last couple years. And I think we were really committed to trying to like show up like that and have fun and do it. And, I think ever since that big Lebowski kind of bigger one that we did, and we just kind of got the bug, I guess, in a way. And, it's all about like having a good time and sharing beer and everything. And so I think it just helps facilitate that. And I think once you do it, like people really had fun with it. And they, we get more people at our tent. We get to serve more beer. Generally, we have a giant dance party at the end of the night. Like everybody's over there. So, we like having fun, I guess. So,
yeah.
Kind of the idea.
No, I think what we're talking about is like I have no problem getting beer, and I can get all my guys to enter competition because I'm twisting their arms and push them in it. And sure, we showed up with 50 kegs, but man, when it comes time to, I start putting out, hey, let's talk about a theme. It's like crickets. So it's awesome that you guys kind of have that engagement.
Yeah. I think there's a core group of us that are really kind of pushing that, and then like really getting the other members to, yeah. But yeah, I think all those guys that helped out, like they've been coming for a while and they love it, right? So Kevin and Sean and Jeff and all the guys. Craig was there, like making food and winning all those competitions, the food competitions. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah. So this year we, I think some of our spouses, girlfriends, significant others, whatever, were there and saw how awesome a job you guys did, and they came back and they're like, "Fuck this, we'll come up with some ideas for you." So I'm really going to be relying on those, and if any of them are watching, then it's still on you, Molly, and was it Shayna? So
there's no magic recipe to it. You know what I mean? It's like you guys enter the beer cup competition like madmen and ladies, right? And like I think that's kind of what we struggle with a little more, is trying to get people to enter beer cup. We want to obviously win beer cup, but this year with one entry per person, it's a little different. But I think every club just struggles with something different, I guess is my point.
No, we do. I get it, and I think we've been very, very, very focused on competition and
yeah, you guys been murdering it, so
right. So,
I'm glad we have the dead grass, but I'd rather have the beer cup trophy than the dead grass. So that's me personally. I'm not speaking for the club. I guess we're going to wait.
Right.
It's a numbers game for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the key. And I'd love to learn how you guys kind of got everything involved.
I hate to say this, but I do think we got a little lucky this year, with some things, but yeah, it's definitely. It's definitely a numbers game. And I think maybe because we only had one entry per person this year, though, right? Like you said, if it gets bumped back up to, how many was it per person in previous years? Like
it's like 3, at least 4, 5.
Oh yeah. God,
it's been 7, 8 in the past.
Yeah, so yeah, maybe not. I do think this year we got lucky, but I think in the coming years, yeah, we'll still continue to bring it strong. Jason encourages, like he brought a very strong competition focus, like to the club when he joined, and I had never entered a competition, and most of the members of our club probably had not entered a competition before that. And it's about instilling that bug. You win your first medal anywhere, and you just want more. You're like, this is something that like I do for fun, but I can also get like, a fucking piece of hardware for. Like it's.
I always said I didn't get enough participation trophies when I was a kid. And now I grew up, and my wife's even worse. So like we started running 5 years ago, and or 6 years ago or whatever. And I haven't run the last year, and it shows. But she's just as bad. I hear like I'm not entering a race unless I get a medal. And I'm like, it's kind of how I feel about a beer comp. Like, I'm not putting in this comp unless I'm going to smoke it, and that's how, we just encourage the members and coerce the members. And hell, dude, I've even been there this year, in the last couple of years, we've had members go, well, I kind of think I might, and I have a beer, and I'm on my phone entering. I just registered you for the competition. Give me $10 and a beer.
I'll come pick it up from you. He does a lot of that. Jason mules a lot of beer, not just to competitions, but he'll go out into the boonies and pick stuff up for people. And
so it's big. But I want I want to grow up to be like Motor City Mashers, man. I mean, Beer Fest is the beer Christmas. It's the funnest time of year for us, and I really appreciate what you guys do there, and the party you guys have. And it's awesome.
We can't win Dead Grass next year, so I'll trade you trophies.
Right, exactly.
I was going to make that joke earlier, but then it's just like, I don't know.
Give that one up. Your new toy. Yeah.
Give me. Come on.
You guys have a mash paddle sitting back there somewhere too, though, right?
Right.
Oh yeah.
So, show us that. That is for a little 4 or 5 way club comp that you've got going on, right? Death Mash.
Yep.
So tell us about that. That is really fucking cool, and that is a badass paddle.
Oh, that's amazing.
So flip it. Does it have your logo on it then?
Yeah. There's
all right. There's Suns. Okay.
And then the ABG.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So originally
5 clubs. Yeah.
Before we get into what it is, this paddle. So Crafting and KGB started this thing. They sent off for this paddle to be made by the same person who does the paddle for the Radagast Award at NHC every year.
Oh.
They're like in New Jersey or something. So this is like the real deal.
Nice.
Yeah. Originally it was Craft and KGB. And they just did an those two competition. I want to say it was maybe 2 or 3 years with just the two of them. I judged the competition at least 2 of the years. And, I think it was just kind of what we were talking about, getting people to, submit to competition and be more involved in, maybe cross club interaction sort of thing. And then I think there were so many mashers and other clubs judging the comp that I don't know if they had to invite us, but we were hassling them so much. Let us in, So, they let us in. It must have been 4 years now because they haven't done the comp in 2. We won it in 2018 and we won it in 2019, the first year we were brought in. So it's been cool.
It's like different, right? Limited.
What's the
format? So the categories that they set up for you, it's like English beers and American beers, and they come up with all these kind of wacky groupings, right? But it makes sense in a way. So you can only enter into these very specific subcategories. They're not all open for submission. And then you can't enter a category more than once. And, there's, 2 entry limit per person, or I can't remember how many it was, but it's been pretty successful. I mean, I think it gets up to 150, 160 entries the last 2 years. It was, so.
Yeah, I feel like we had a lot more people submit to that than we did to Beer Cup.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's cool to do that. Like, we've done some club to club competitions where we kind of get together and brew as a club, right? And you're kind of we've done a couple with Club where we brew together and as a club, and then we put our beer on tap, and it's like the first beer to sell out or whatever at whatever local brewery. But to have this be a real, like, that sounds like more of a real competition. You got all your members, and are you scoring like 2-3 points per gold and so on, or?
Yeah, I don't know how it works, but yeah, it's like a ranked thing, right? First gets so many points, second gets so many points, third gets so many points, and there's only like 5 categories total. So
Right on.
there's usually, so far there's been no mead or cider either. So at least
there maybe was a grouping at one year.
Was there?
I don't know.
I feel like the years we won there wasn't.
Yeah, probably not.
They do change. Keith, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Keith mentioned Keith's a member of Craft, so one of the founding members of the competition. So yeah,
they do change.
Here. Yep.
Yeah, I know. I see Keith pop in. Actually, let's catch up real quick. So we've got Ray giving a shout out from Key West. So hey, Ray.
Hey, Ray.
Happy anniversary, Ray.
Happy.
Also, Ray won he was best of show for that mash battle.
Oh, awesome!
Awesome, great fucking job. Yeah, and then yeah, Keith's popping in from Craft. We are going to get Keith on. I mean, I'm really talk to him about it, but I'm sure we'll get Keith on in Craft here in the near future. Keith, I'll ping you about that too. And Keith, I still got to get back to you about this goddamn barrel, but we're going to do it.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah.
We had our meeting yesterday, and after the meeting, at Homebrew Fest, and this will impact you guys too, and I've talked about it on a couple of shows, but at Homebrew Fest, Keith and I were talking about this traveling barrel that we're gonna start, and then we're gonna pass it on to a different club, and every year it's gonna pass to a different club, and we've got a barrel to donate to kind of start it. I just need to get it. We need to get it rolling.
It puts out good beer.
Yeah. So it's a little 50-gallon barrel.
Little feed in the whatever Facebook group that was. So.
Yeah. We need to do it. We need to get. I need to get with Keith and actually talk about it seriously, because we've got the barrel and we're ready to do it, and we can get it going so that it's ready for Homebrew Fest next year. But life's been busy and shit's been happening since August. It feels like Homebrew Fest was months and months and months and months ago. Like, just so much shit's been going on. But anyway, so the other thing that was big, I stalked your guys' Facebook page earlier, and that's where we saw Dan and your gold, and I actually missed that completely. And if I'd have connected it at Homebrew Fest, I probably would have been all over you then. So I'm sorry. Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
We connected. Where were you at, Jason?
I have no idea. Probably drunk.
Actually, Dan, I didn't know either. He fucking reached out to me and he's like, "Brian, congrats, at NHC this year." And I'm like, "How'd you do?" He's like, "Oh, I took gold." I'm like, "I'm so sorry. That's fucking awesome."
I mean, I heard you talking about silver. So yeah, congratulations. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I to get anything, I feel like is awesome, right?
Is this your first NHC medal?
In the final round, I've gotten a couple gold medals in the first round, but never anything in the final round.
Yeah, that was so my dream. I've got my share of medals and ribbons, and I've got my fair share of first round NHC, but I want that NHC medal, the medal, and then I'm probably going to quit. I'm done.
Yeah, I don't know if I should keep going. I did find it here.
There you go. Oh God, it's so sexy.
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
So the awards are going on, and
put it on.
We had a work thing. Yeah.
I was giving shit about wearing his at. I keep bringing him up at MHF. I'm like, "You brought that fucking thing?" And he's like, "Hell yeah, I brought it. I fucking won it." And I'm like, "That's ridiculous,
dude." If I ever win one, the entire NHC. I don't know why Brian didn't have his silver. I'd have been.
Yeah. You lost it, Dan. It would have been in the woods somewhere.
So fast. It was great to see so many Michigan names though. I feel like the year before they had like one maybe, so it was cool.
I'm totally with you.
Yeah. We've got Jeff Carlson. It's a big time
Cider.
winner. Cider.
Yeah.
The goat. He's the goat.
Yeah, the goat. And then a few names from over Detroit way. And then Brian with his silver. That's what I was saying is this is my dream. I want this damn medal. And he was actually at my house when they did the awards, and he was sitting 5 feet from me and won his silver. And it was all I could do not to just strangle him.
I was touching the grass. I had no idea it was happening until everybody started texting me like, "Oh my fucking god! Oh my fucking like, what? What did I do now?" Turn the award show on. I'm like, "Oh wow, that's pretty cool."
Yeah. But the other thing, so skipping on from that, the other thing I noticed, on your feed was Mike, your recent publication on Brewlosophy. So you got an experiment published. So tell us about that. What did you submit?
Yeah, so the article was basically testing the idea of warm fermenting a lager under pressure versus not pressure. So I did a fest beer, fermented it at 68, and one 5-gallon batch was just had a blow-off tube on it, and the other had a spunning valve at 12 psi. The idea being there's actual science out there that shows fermenting under pressure with certain yeast at warmer temperatures can suppress fusels, can suppress unwanted esters and other unwanted lager characteristics that shouldn't be there. So I brought it to the KGB meeting. There was 20 participants total, and only 8, I believe, were able to correctly identify the odd beer out, which, based on the way the number that Brewlosophy uses tells us, in this specific case with this fest beer and this ingredients and all that, fermenting at 12 psi was no different than fermenting at 0, basically, pressure. So I did get a lot of feedback on it, obviously. I did use 3470, which is a fairly hardy lager yeast to ferment at higher temperatures. So I'd say probably half, if not 3/4 of the comments were you should do it again with a different, more finicky lager yeast, which, that sounds like a great idea. 3470 is what I had here. So
you're going to get that with any Brewlosophy experiment, though, in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, it's expected. It's not anything, Yeah. So, so that whole fest beer was like a trial for me to become like an actual contributor. So after the recipe or after the experiment published, they've brought me on as a contributor since. So you should see more articles coming out, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very cool.
Congrats on that.
Yeah. And the way it happened, really, I wasn't like, hey, Marshall, you should totally bring me on as a contributor. It was
me asking Marshall for a video. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of weird that like we were both talking to him at the same time. But so in 2021, I became no longer president of the club. Dan took over as president, and I wanted to become the education chair. And with that, I had 3 years as president, you get burnout and you just don't want to deal with a lot of stuff. So I was ready to do something a little more brewing focused and exciting. So I essentially, as the education of every meeting, wanted to rip off Brewlosophy and do exactly what they did. But, the whole thing, like reading these articles every week is like, yeah, this is all great, but I don't get to taste any of this, right? So I essentially wanted to bring that to our club, and so that they could, be a part of, these experiments. And I just reached out to him saying, how do you run these tests? What's the process? What do you tell people? What do you not tell people? Just kind of what high level, what should I be doing here? And he got back to me and kind of, stuck in at the very end. Like, if you're serious about doing this, like on a regular basis, let me know and we'll keep talking. And, I thought it was a cool opportunity. So we just kept talking and it just kind of came about. So that's kind of,
that's super cool. I really enjoyed the article. We actually got to participate a little bit in an experiment of our own last night at our meeting. One of our members was doing the I just lost it. What was the difference between? Go it, Brian. I thought you were going to say it.
It was a Pilsner. I don't know. Did he specify what kind of Pilsner it was?
Yes.
Was it a Czech Pils? I think it was a Czech Pils.
Yeah, yep.
Right.
I believe it was a Czech Pils, and he was testing. There were 2 batches. I can't remember what the odd man out was now.
One was decocted, sort of.
Decoction, that's right.
It wasn't a traditional decoction. He took some of the mash, like I think it was like after, the normal mash had completed, and just kind of boiled it for 30 minutes, and then continued on with that half of the beer.
Yeah.
And so the difference was basically like, is there a difference with, and I don't know if he did this on purpose or not, I can't remember, but Jason, you sometimes watch a show. If you're in chat, let us know. But it was you would think that if you did 2 beers, mashed them for the same amount of time, and then took maybe like 1 gallon of thick mash from one, and fucking boiled it for 30 minutes, and then continued on your way, everything else the same, you could be able to tell the difference. But no, it was split 50-50. It was a triangle test. 8 people got it right. 5 guessed one, and like 4 guessed the other. Or no, I'm sorry, 9 guessed it right, and then 5, and then 4. So yeah.
It's 50-50.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's cool. I mean, the whole,
it was hard.
Yeah, for sure. Right. It's not as, I mean, I'm sure he didn't give you the variable to begin with.
No.
You would think, right, a lot of these, experiments that they would actually result in, of course I can tell that apart, but like you boil a gallon of mash for a half an hour and I can't tell it apart. It just kind of blows your mind on like what actually matters,
Yeah.
Like, does this matter? Does it not matter?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool though.
What's really great too is like we've done some experimental stuff in the past where we've made a really big batch of beer and then fermented it with like 5 different, yeast strains or whatever. We've done a saison one like that. We've done a cream ale one earlier this year like that. The protocol and for brewing and like keeping everything exactly the same is really not possible in that. But like the way these Brewlosophy guys and Mike's got it set up, like it is like so exact, like they are documenting, they have the exact same setup, they can do all these things. It's pretty cool. So you definitely know, like, I don't know if you know, but like it's a pretty good idea that like that variable, if it has an impact, is the thing that's going to cause it.
Yeah, it's definitely cool when you have like the pictures of your rig that was on there. You've actually got some pretty decent high-end equipment and the ability to kind of do this and keep it track. And we did the same thing, Dan, especially like I remember starting with the saison, and you're releasing that out into 3 to 6 different members with their various rigs and
or wherever they're
right.
Somebody good at starter, is somebody not, like, yeah. So
exactly. Yeah, we tried that saison. Well, it's funny you said saison. We tried it where we were like, these 3 members are going to go brew a saison, same grain bill, different yeast, 3 different saison yeasts, and then we're going to vote on it, and then we're going to take that to 3 different members who are going to use the yeast that won, and we're going to tweak, a grain bill or something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we're going to keep evolving it. Every time changing one. Metric or one factor, one ingredient, one process, whatever it may be, and it made it through. It finished 1 round and then died.
Yeah,
It was just hard, you know. And I think it was right before COVID too.
Yeah. That is cool though. I think in our members really like find that stuff, whether it's the triangle testing or the like. Here's a cream ale with 5 different yeasts, and how does it come out? Even even if they weren't exact, like you can get a sense. So, it's really cool to see that kind of revelation and like understanding like some of these things that we like just think are so important, maybe aren't.
No, I know. I mean,
although with yeast and like saison yeast, like there's a huge difference. I'll say that, like that's for sure.
Absolutely. But like the things I used to worry about as a young brewer or new to brewing, not young brewer, but new to brewing, now that I'm a decade into it or whatever, and it's like, man, that shit doesn't matter. And so it's good to kind of, what's that? I thought somebody said something. But it's good to kind of explore that with the club because, I remember going to Big Brew Day and watching, 20 different guys brew differently and watching 20 different people do things differently and just being amazed, like almost offended, like, oh my God, you're doing it that way. Like, what the hell? And then, but to find out like the beer comes out good, and so does it really matter? What really matters? That's what excites me about these philosophy experiments and so or experiments, to get into, what really matters. And I think it's going to come down to sanitation. It's the only thing that fucking matters, right?
I brought a beer to our club meeting last night. It tastes great off the tab. I put it in my howler. It's like a fucking Stanley howler. I bring it into the meeting, and like 45 minutes in, not less than 5 people came up to me and was like, "This Czech Pils kind of tastes like green pepper." And it literally did. I don't know what the deal was. Shannon and I went back home, and like the first thing we did is like pulled a fucking like pint off the tap and like drank it, and the flavor wasn't there, but something about the container that I put it in gave it a green pepper flavor. Yeah, so I scrubbed the shit out of those today. But yeah, I mean, just and that only took 45 minutes. Like, imagine if like something's like weird in your bottle, like.
Yeah, it can get crazy. Although, you guys say that, and then like I have this story I tell where I spent all day making this German Pilsner when I was kind of still using glass carboys, and I had it in like one of these like plastic totes, like the carboy was in the tote. Mm-hmm. And I was at an apartment, and like I was outside, and I set it down, and like the glass shattered everywhere. And so I got 5 gallons of German Pilsner wort that I hadn't fermented yet. And I'm like, well, this is ruined. Like, it's in this nasty blue tote, that hasn't been like,
oh, it broke above the tote.
It was just in there. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's got glass shards in it. I'm like, oh, and I'm like, I should just dump it. But instead I like threw it in like a plastic bucket and threw some freaking,
glass and all.
Yeah, I just threw some lager yeast in it and fermented it, and like I brought it. Yeah, and I've got this glass-laden freaking German Pilsner that fermented out, and I took it to our Christmas party, and this was like Mike and I were new, and he's like, "Man, this shit is good. What did you do?" I'm like, "Dude, I just broke my carboy into a dirty ass blue container, dumped it in a bucket that probably wasn't sanitized, and threw some lager yeast in it."
So it's funny you say that. I don't use glass anymore. I still have some, but I'm away from it.
Never touch that.
But I never put it in a tote until this happened. And let me see if I can bring this on. Window.
I have multiple exploding carboy stories. So
oh no.
So this was a pumpkin.
Oh no.
This is a pumpkin amber. And you can see the carboy right there. So I lifted it up to waist height, and the bottom fell out.
Oh my gosh! Yep.
5 gallons of pumpkin wort in my kitchen.
Of course,
my countertops are blue.
Oh boy!
Are you barefooted as well with that?
I was barefooted.
It's a perfect recipe.
Yeah. And my wife. So now mind you, there was like 5 cans of pumpkin puree in that, so that was so fucking sticky. And my wife, the first thing out of her mouth, the first words out of her mouth to my kids, we're standing there. I lifted it up and just whoosh, the bottom fell out. And she looks at me and she yells, "Get the camera."
Good sense of humor, huh?
Yeah.
So from that day on, Dan, I used the tote condom after that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
every time my carboy was always in a tote, and it never broke again, or I probably would have done the same thing and just
Yeah.
So.
I was like, what the?
Yeah, I actually. So the bottom fell out of that carboy, the plate, and I still have it, and I plan on hanging on my wall someday.
That's sweet.
It's like you could impale yourself on something like that. I feel.
You can probably get it like etched now, right? Like people have like glow forges and stuff.
Oh,
That'll
there you go.
glass. Yeah. Get the Michigan Brews logo etched on the bottom of it for good luck.
But yeah, I mean, if you can shatter a carboy into a tote, still ferment it out as good beer. It really makes you wonder about how much of our process is really important.
I wouldn't recommend that to anybody as a process. Up there. Not sure.
I was up north last weekend and I missed a cider press for the club, and I missed a friend of mine who has a cider mill or cider orchard or apple orchard. Jesus Christ. They did a pressing, but they really wanted me to get some of their cider, and they're not home brewers. They don't know about what happens when you let cider sit warm for a day. So they saved me 7 gallons or so of cider, kept it warm for 3 days.
Jugs? In like plastic jugs?
In the jugs. And he brought it over and he's like, "Man, I had to burp it every few minutes because they were expanding and blowing up." And I'm like, "Well, this shit's already done."
He did all the work for you.
The wild has taken hold, man.
So I've transferred it to a Speedle, where I'm just letting it go, do its thing.
That'll be cool.
And we're gonna see what that turns out.
Yeah,
why not? It's probably gonna be great.
Yeah.
Throw some oak at it, dude. Why the hell not?
Yeah.
See what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So completely, just random fucking cider press from Port Huron that sat for 3 days, 4 days. Lord
Can
knows.
You smell it already?
So I took a swig of when I was transferring. I took a swig of the in process cider, and it tasted good at that time. Like I didn't taste any, funky, wet dog or.
You're gold, dude. You're gold.
Right.
How long has it been, Jason? When did you get that?
It's gonna be Michigan Beer Cup BOS next year.
It's been a week now.
Okay.
It's been in the Speedo.
I was gonna say you could still throw like nutrients in it or something, but yeah, fuck it. Like
I just at that point I was just kind of like fucking let it go.
Yeah.
So you guys did a club trip to Port Huron to get to?
No, I have a friend that lives in Port Huron and has his dad actually has an apple orchard in Port Huron.
Okay. There's a different. Okay.
Yeah, no, sorry. Same day. We had a club press here in Kalamazoo on the 3rd, and the same day my friend in Port Huron was pressing. So I missed cider. I mean, I know I can still go get it. It's not over, but I missed all the cheap and free shit because I was up in the UP screwing around. So, but yeah, we'll see. It might be. You're right. It could be best to show next year. I could kick Michelle's ass with her.
Hell yeah.
Whatever.
It's gonna be delicious.
Right.
Save me some.
Yeah. For sure.
So what else? Let's see. I feel like we've deviated away from the mashers per se. What else can we talk about your club? How many members you guys have? Yeah, there you go.
What are we currently? 47, 43, 47, somewhere in there.
Are you guys doing anything to like actively recruit or?
Just the two main things every year, which would be Big Brew and Learn to Homebrew Day. Those are probably our most successful recruiting events. I mean, because before the pandemic hit, we had the shop, we had adventures, right?
Mm-hmm.
We brew at the shop. We, have 15, 20 brewers in the parking lot. People would come off of Telegraph and, pop in, see what's going on. We have food. We get the club bar set up. Oh, and by the way, everything ingredients wise is 20% off for, all these people who aren't members, who just show up and like want to get into the hobby, and you bounce around each booth and you BS and you talk about homebrew and you try to bring those people in. And, there were a few years there where we would bring in, anywhere from 5 to 10 people per event, which is pretty big considering if you only have 40, 50 members every year. So those are probably our two biggest.
More importantly, Mashers get 20% off AIH.
Well, not anymore. I mean, that was at on those days. Right?
Well, we get to
ready for members.
Yeah, they give us grains. For
free. So that was the other. I mean, it was Jason, the owner, it was a two-way relationship, right? So, what mashers want to brew? Okay, what do you want to brew? All your grains are free. Up to maybe 6 ounces of hops and a yeast. And that's. It was a two-way street. He would do business for us and we did business for him. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. So
yeah, we I haven't seen too many homebrew clubs associated to a homebrew shop, but then again, over here on the west side, we only have, a handful of clubs compared to the east side. And we also only have a couple of homebrew shops too. I mean, I think we've got O'Connor's and Siciliano's in Grand Rapids, and then Bell's in South County, in Kalamazoo. So it's been pretty few and far between. But then again, we've only got, I think, 4 clubs over here too. So, but yeah, that's cool that you guys are associated to that. I can see having a homebrew club in your pocket could be beneficial.
Yeah,
and some of those. Both ways.
It was very beneficial. It's been unfortunate the last couple of years, like with the pandemic, Jason's had to shut down the Taylor location. So we've been, semi-homeless, which was okay in the beginning because, there's no one's meeting anyways. So, but yeah, since we've gotten back, it's been a little more difficult for our members to come out to events. I mean, because the other thing too is, every club has members that it maybe brew once a month, once every 2 months, once every 3 months. And they came in on our meeting night, got their ingredients, and then came to the meeting and then went home, and we'll see you next month or the month after that, So now that advantage is gone, it's kind of a pretty big deal for us. Yeah, I'd say. So
yeah,
but we're making it through.
We're
everything's fine.
We're trying. Yeah. I mean, we're not,
we're not dying. Yeah.
We're definitely, hey, we're always looking for new members. So if anybody, is looking for a homebrew club on the east side,
On the east side.
Or if you guys want to ever, take a 2-hour road trip, come on over.
Yeah, come on.
Always welcome. It's a Friday night. You can spend the night, Saturday, whatever.
We've talked about doing that. Yeah.
That's actually a good call out. So when are traditionally your meetings? When do you guys do those?
Normally they are the first Friday of the month.
That's cool.
So Big Brew and Learn to Homebrew Day, which is going to be next month, November, is Learn to Homebrew Day. We actually do the second Friday of the month, so that if we see anybody at the Big Brew or Learn to Homebrew, we can be like, hey, come to our meeting in a few days as opposed to in a month. So
that's cool. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that changed too, upped our, the people coming back significantly. Because, we'd be like, when do you meet? Oh, yeah, we met last night, but then we could see you in, 29 days. That, and then they never show up. So.
Yeah.
But.
Oh, right on.
We also have one other big thing, which we don't necessarily recruit a lot of members, but it's coming up like this week, which is the Mead Cup, right? So that's our other one. I know you're going to talk to Gail about that, so we can let her take money for that.
We're going to do a whole show on the Mead Cup.
But only after it happens, so...
After.
Yeah.
So Mead Cup judging is next weekend, right? The 16th,
This weekend.
This
weekend, yep.
This next weekend, yeah. Super excited about that. Brian's got some entries in. I didn't enter this year. I've only done one real mead, and I'm not.
Jordan's got
it's
one
funny.
or two.
I always tell new people that join our club. They're like, "Oh, I'm not ready to enter competitions yet." I'm like, "I don't give a fuck if it's your first one. Enter it, you know." And here I am going, "Well, it's my first mead." The reality of it is I only got like 12 bottles of it left, and I didn't really want to give any up. So
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
But really looking forward to talking to Gail in a couple of weeks. So we're going to talk to her the week after Mead Cup. So we're not going to have any show next week on the 18th. We'll be back the following week with Gail, talking Mead Cup, and then we're going to start. We'll announce more about our November shows a little bit later in the month. The shows that should be coming up, we're going to circle back with the Rosses at some point here in the near future and brew Sea Gump IPA. In case you guys missed that, we started this year doing a recipe design show where we just randomly talk, throw out ingredients and let's talk through the process of what it would take to create a beer with certain ingredients. And the Rosses are friends of ours that are videographers that did our cool intro, which is the most amazing intro ever. And they've filmed Billboard top #1 hit music videos and all that kind of shit. And so we've got these cool people that did this amazing intro for us and didn't charge us a dime. And those assholes, when we did a recipe design, threw out coconut fucking shrimp.
IPA.
So we did.
That sounds terrible.
Right. But to humor them because they just produced this amazing video for us. To humor them, we fucking wrote the recipe. And we came up with it, and now so we're making them brew it with us.
Sorry, we're still happening.
No, yeah, we're gonna make them. You're not lying, dude.
To be determined. Yeah.
We're gonna make them brew it with us, and then we're gonna actually have them on the air on the show with us to make them drink that shit on air since they asked for it. And not to completely.
Oh God!
Out of here. I am putting real shrimp in it, so this is Louisiana dried shrimp that we will be dry hopping this beer with.
Gross.
Dry shrimping.
Let me ask you: are you going to sanitize them shrimps at all?
Yeah, I got to come up with something like a quick boil, probably.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I mean.
Although to be honest with you, Mike, they're so salty that there's nothing.
Oh yeah, right.
There's nothing.
Was that air? Was that?
No. So here, let me turn off my blur real quick. So these are not vacuum sealed. These are Louisiana dried shrimp. They are no additives, no preservatives. They're just dried, salted. The lifespan on these is like 6 years because there's nothing but. So
it's fantastic. So are you gonna put them in a bag? I mean, if they're dried, you have to anticipate some expansion, right?
Yeah, no, I sucked on one from a different package.
That will definitely help with the
funnier story was don't Amazon and drink. So I ordered these on the air. This is a 4-ounce bag. I don't even want to use like 1 ounce, right? But I was drunk when I ordered these, so I have
4. Oh yeah.
And I have another bag that's off air. I what I did is I put 2 bags in my cart, thinking I'm going to use 8 ounces, and then I kind of sobered up and I was like, no way in hell do we need 8 ounces. And I meant to take one bag out, but I somehow added a bag.
Perfect. Dude, just do a 20-gallon batch. We'll be able to
Yeah.
Right.
That's the only thing you can serve next year at Homebrew Festival.
Dude, if it is in any way palatable, I'm fucking bringing it.
Absolutely. We'll have an extra bag of shrimp to make it again. So
Yeah, there you go.
You should have like a shrimp series where it's like different versions of shrimp, dry hop shrimp beers.
Shrimp Kolsch.
Yeah. Kolsch down to Imperial Stout, everywhere in between.
So where I was going with this was in November we should have a Seagump IPA show where we will be drinking that horrible shit. I mean that amazing beer. And then the other big show around the holiday is we're going to get together and do a holiday seltzer get together. So we can have, I think, 10 people on stream. Yeah. If any of you guys, if either of you guys like seltzer and like getting just blackout fucking drunk on seltzer, we'll throw you a link and maybe you can hop in and join us. Brian and I, it's our thing. We've done a couple of seltzer shows.
I listened to one of them.
Then you know more than I do.
It goes off the rails. Huh?
It goes way off the rails. The shit goes down real easy. And then next thing you know, it's tomorrow and we don't remember what we said on air last night.
It's Tuesday afternoon and I don't know where I am.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be at work 5 hours ago.
So we're gonna do a show in November. We haven't really organized it yet, but we're just gonna I'm gonna send the link out to a bunch of people.
It'll probably be the closest show to Thanksgiving, probably.
Yeah, the closest show to Thanksgiving, and we'll do so the week of Thanksgiving we'll just do drop-ins. People want to come in and pound a seltzer with us and bullshit. So
yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
So yeah, that's what's coming up for Michigan Brews. So again, no show next week. We'll be back the following week, the 25th, with Gail, and then in November you can look forward to Seagump IPA. Yeah, look forward to it, and then a seltzer show, and then we've got a couple other shows we're working out. We'll have more news on the Facebook page. But before we wrap, is there anything you guys have big coming with the club? Anything? I mean, of course, you got Mead Cup next week, but.
Got Mead Cup, more Brewlosophy stuff coming up.
Yeah, I think if you're a home brewer in Southeast Michigan, Detroit area, Downriver area, come check us out.
Yeah, if you like to party, right? These guys put it on.
Party, drink good beer.
Pretty laid back, so yeah, not uptight.
Right on. Yeah. Well, thanks again for joining us tonight and hanging out. Again, you guys are amazing at Beer Fest. That's where we know you personally from, and really appreciate the shit that you guys bring and always had good beer. So thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Hell yeah. All right, let's get this cool. So again, same outro done by the Rosses. Thanks again, Sam and Travis.